to the Bucks last night, but it didn't come without some wins. Bronny James, a career-high 17 points, shooting 7 for 10 with 5 assists and 3 rebounds in 30 minutes of play. James Jr. even had a highlight moment, crossing up former MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo. Here's head coach J.J. Redick postgame.
Not surprised by tonight. And I think his confidence is growing. I think the next step is just, becoming like an elite conditioned athlete, because when he does that with his physical tools and just his like burst and his handle, and we think he's going to be an above average to really good NBA shooter. He's gonna have a chance to really make an impact.
All right, we know JJ was a shooter himself, and he said above average to really good shooter is his potential. Stephen A., what did you think of Bronny's performance last night?
I was very impressed. I was very impressed because I saw an elevation in his level of confidence and poise. It was like it didn't really faze him. He didn't look as nervous as he had looked in previous appearances on the basketball court. He looked like somebody that belonged. Now, obviously, Milwaukee gave it to them last night, but just looking at the Lakers without LeBron, without Luka, without Rui Hachimura, without Austin Reeves, of course, that put Bronny James in a position where he could get his 30 minutes. But give credit where credit is due. There were some moves that he put out on the court, ball handling skills, getting to the basket, finishing at the basket, pulling up for jumpers, hitting a three, 17.7 to 10 shooting from the field. I was impressed, okay? This is the big picture here that I want to bring up. I might have been wrong. Are you listening, LeBron James? Are you listening, James family? Are you listening, Rich Paul? Are you listening, all of you people? Because here's my position. My position was all along, Bronny James needed to be in the G League. Put him in the G League, let him be in the G League his first year, and then after that, let him come on, because I've always believed that this kid has the potential, once I watched him, to be in the NBA. But what I saw last night made me say to myself, wait a minute. He keeps showing up and playing like that. J.J. Redick and his staff obviously doing an exceptional job coaching him. The G Leaguers obviously doing a good job of preparing him. Him sitting on the bench, learning, watching the Lakers players, being in practice with them sometimes. Evidently, that seems to be working for him. And if that kind of stuff continues, then indeed he'll be in the league as a bona fide player sooner than later. One game does that make that determination. You need to do more than that. But I wanted to make sure I emphasize that point. And the reason why I wanted to make sure I emphasize that point, Molly, is because when I was approached by Pops, okay, at courtside and all of this other stuff, I will contend till the cows come. Yeah, tell me about it. I will contend till the cows come home. I was never disrespecting Bronny James. I was the one that didn't watch him in high school because I didn't want to judge him like I would have had to had I gone to his game. I didn't go to his college games at USC because he had the heart condition. I waited and waited and waited until he got to the pro level because I wanted to give the kid a chance, because obviously being LeBron James' son puts him in a very precarious position. So this notion that I was disrespecting or his son, it's a lie. It is false. We have numerous tapes that show I did not do that. But I did believe that he belonged in the G League to get himself honed for the NBA level. What may have been wrong about that is that evidently being around J.J. Redick and that staff and being around Pops and the rest of the Los Angeles Lakers, combined with the G League going back and forth, may be doing wonders for him sooner than we anticipated. Because I liked what I saw last night, and I'm going to keep the same energy. When he plays well, we're going to give him props. When he doesn't play well, we're going to say so. That's what happens with covering the league. Maybe his pops didn't tell him that, but I'm going to tell him that. Congrats on a good performance last night. I hope it continues. I believe it will. And I believe he's going to be an NBA player, a bona fide NBA player, a lot sooner than people think based on the progress we're seeing him make. Props to him.
Yeah, and again, JJ saying that he could be a great shooter. All right, they got the Bulls, Magic, and Pacers next. That would be the Lakers.
Do you agree with the idea that there's not a face, a singular face, and we should embrace it?
I don't think there's ever been one face. I think it's always been a community. Now we've had stretches where obviously LeBron James has been the elder statesman for a long time. But at one point, it was him and Steph. You know, even when it was him in his early days, it was Kobe as well. Like, there's always been a tandem or a trio or a community-based stretch of guys that has held this crown. And so I understand what he's saying, and I agree with him. But there's always going to be one marquee guy that's going to be the big picture, and everybody else is going to be the small picture on the flyer. There's always going to be one singular guy that's going to be highlighted, but there's always been a community of faces of the NBA. Always.
Yeah, I can't remember a time where I would maybe Jordan.
Like, I mean,
where
you don't
would just think of one person when you thought of the whole NBA.
Yeah, you've always had rivalries. You always had matchups. That's what makes All-Star Weekend special. That's what makes Christmas Day and all of these matchups and opening night and playoff matchups. That's what makes it special, because you have an array of guys that you can point to be the face of the NBA. And so it's always been community-based to me, but there's usually one or two guys that are going to be marquee on a different level than everybody
like
else.
The movie stars.
Yeah, that's just natural.
That's fair. Bronny James spoke to The Athletic, and he said that he tries to let the negative comments go in one ear, out the other. Sometimes it fuels him, though. Says everything that people are saying, that people think he's a bleeping robot. The robot thing got me. Like he doesn't have, feelings and emotions. So what's your reaction to that?
I like the fact that he's fighting back. Like, allow me to be my own person. I'm a grown man. Everything that's discussed about me shouldn't be hedged on who my father is. Like, we should allow him to be his own man. So I like the fact that he's speaking up for himself. He wants people to know that he has feelings. Like, he's hearing all of these things. And being a young,
I never thought of a robot.
Yeah, but being a young man navigating so much attention, like, at the end of the day, he was the 55th pick in this draft. No, we don't discuss anybody else in this draft in the manner that we discuss Bronny James. And that's because of who his father is. You got to allow him to go out and be the young, grown man that he is, and ask him sometimes, what do you feel about this? And he got to do a better job of being out on the front lines like he is now. Speak up for yourself. Become the vocal person. Stop allowing the media to speak for you or anybody else. Speak for yourself. Yep, or your dad. Speak for yourself, and that's where you'll start. That's where people can start understanding who Bronny James is. And it does help that he's going out there and performing at the level that he's performing, giving the opportunity that he is. And so all of these things helps. I feel like for him to not feel like a robot, but this is good for him to speak up and take the onus and say, hey, enough is enough. I like to speak for myself and stop treating me like this.
I think we'll always wonder what his journey would have been like had he not gone to the Lakers with his dad. Like, if he would have gone in any other team. Like, I genuinely feel like this would all feel differently.
Yeah, but
we'll never know.
But we'll never know, and it's also the beginning of this story.
Yeah.
Bronny James he's going to be a reputable pro. He's going to earn his keep, and he's showing that right now. And he's going to have opportunities year after year after year to be his own man, not be under his dad's shadow. And that's when this story will start to change. And I look forward to it.
We've got to take a quick break. On the other side, the age-old question: can NFL players be in the NBA? This time we have video, Lou. Video.